Do your project files in GarageBand on your iPhone or your iPad look a little bit like this? Well, it might be time for you and I to start doing some cleaning up. So in this video, I'm going to show you some tips and tools that we can use to manage our files here in GarageBand. Let's go. Hi, my name is Pete, and this is Studio Live Today, where I help you create, record, and release your best music. And if, like me, you've been using GarageBand on iPad or iPhone for a while, or even if you're just getting started, it can be a good idea to jump in and do a little bit of spring cleaning every now and then, because you start creating projects and then you end up with a folder that looks a little bit like this. So in this video, we're going to dive in. I'm going to talk about the locations you can store and some of the tips and tricks and ways that I use to keep my files more organized than they are right now. Oh, and stick around to the end because I've got a very cool bonus tip where I'm going to show you how we can actually zip up our files and store them on Google Drive, Dropbox, and a bunch of other cloud service locations if we need to free up space right here on our device. There are two different apps that we can use to manage our files. First is obviously GarageBand, where we can come in here and look at our files. The other is the Files app, which I already have open here. So this has the same display, but it just has a few additional options, which we'll be covering later in this tutorial. But it's good to keep in mind that we can view these same files from these two different locations. The key difference with Files is that this helps you access any other types of files. So you can see here under my iCloud drive, I've got this cash register sound here, which is a WAV file. I can actually access this in Files. If I come back here to GarageBand and I find this same file, you can see that it is grayed out, so I can't access it. GarageBand only lets you manage your GarageBand.band files, whereas Files lets you manage every other file type as well. At the bottom of our screen here, we have two tabs. We have our Recent tab here on the left, which shows our recently opened projects and our shared documents. On the right, we have our Browse, which lets us jump into the different locations down the left and then come in here and access these locations and manipulate our files. Now, if you're on a smaller device or an iPhone, you're not going to see this side-by-side view. When you tap on your location here, it will open up into a completely separate window, but the functionality is exactly the same. You'll just have to hit the back button to go back to your locations to select a different location. The Recent tab is handy for finding and opening those recent files, but keep in mind that you can't do any of the file transactions that we'll be showing you and the cleanup tools that I'll be showing you in this video. So I suggest you stick in the Browse tab most of the time unless you are just opening a recent file. The two key locations that we can store files on our iPhone or iPad are the On My iPhone or On My iPad location and the iCloud Drive location. Now, both of these have GarageBand folders where we can store our .band GarageBand project files. The iCloud Drive has the added advantage of uploading those to our iCloud Drive, meaning that we can actually back up automatically to our iCloud Drive. Now, Apple will give you 5 gigabytes of storage with any Apple account for free, and then you can upgrade that storage if you want more. So if you have the storage available, it's a good idea to save your projects here in iCloud Drive. Otherwise, you can use the On My iPhone and just make sure that you're backing up your iPhone or your iPad, or that you're transferring those files or backing them up, both of which we will cover later in this tutorial. The On My iPhone or On My iPad location is also the location that will show up if you connect your iPad or your iPhone to iTunes on your Mac or your PC. So any of the files or projects that you have in this folder will be visible and viewable and therefore copyable from your device over to your Mac or your PC. So if you do want to back these up, the quickest and easiest way is to have these right here in your On My iPhone or On My iPad in your GarageBand folder and then use iTunes file sharing on your Mac or PC. And if you want to learn how to use that, there's a video linked right up the top and also in the description that will show you how. Let's now talk about the iCloud Drive location. So here we are in iCloud Drive. You can see that as well as GarageBand, other applications store their files here as well. But let's tap on the GarageBand for iOS folder here. And what you'll notice is that I've actually created my own folder structure. And this is something that I'll show you later on. But I've got this one file out here, which is this version of Things Change. Now, you'll notice here it's got a little cloud icon there. That's because this isn't saved to this device right now. It is in the cloud. And this is important to understand that if and when you run out of space on your device here, it may actually offload that file. It doesn't mean it's deleted it. It just means it's removed it from your device and you need to read re-download it. To download it, all we need to do is tap, and you can see there it's going to wait to download, and it will start downloading that from your iCloud drive. So it means that you can store all of your files and your project files up in the cloud in your iCloud drive without cluttering up your iPhone or your iPad. So you can have a lot more files than the storage space you have. And when you need to download them and work on them again, you can download them by hitting that button and downloading them to your device. The other benefit of iCloud Drive is if you have more than one device, an iPad and an iPhone, you can then work on the same projects across your two devices. So once this is downloaded here, I can make a change on my iPhone, and then when I go to my iPad, it will tell me that there's been an update and I can re-download that version. And that means that I can work on my iPhone and my iPad seamlessly, and then they will re-merge those together and make sure that the latest updated version is going to be on the device that I'm using. Even cooler than that is that you can collaborate with another user. So if there's someone else that you want to share the file with, you can share it via email or via a messenger message, and then they can actually download and open it in their iCloud drive. They can make changes to the project, and then when you go back in, you can download the latest version with their changes. So that's a very cool way to collaborate, and I've got another video which is linked up the top and in the description that you can check out, all about how to collaborate here in GarageBand. Now, to determine where we're going to store a new project when we create one, we just need to choose which location we want it to be in. So here I'm on my iPhone. I'm going to tap GarageBand and then create document here on my iPhone. And this will ensure that this new project is created on my device. If I just hit record here, we're just going to record a couple of seconds of nothing like that. And then we'll go back here in the top here, tap, go to my songs, and then it will pop us back out. And there is my song 26. To rename this now, we just tap on, not that, we tap on the actual name of it. You have to be very careful. Don't do what I just did there. And then we can just call this. So this is my new song, and I'm just going to call it new song and hit done. And there it is there. So now it is saved to just this device. And again, it's not on iCloud Drive. It's not backed up. It'll be backed up with my phone if I back it up via iTunes or if I back up the whole phone image. But this actual file is just sitting on my iPhone, nowhere else right now. But what if I do want to now copy this over to my iCloud Drive because I want to make sure I've backed up this project? Well, there's a couple of ways we can do it. The first is to tap and hold right here on the icon and release, and then we get all of these options across the top here where we can copy, and therefore we can paste this, we can duplicate, rename, move, delete, share, add tags, and do info. Now I've got a complete video which is a lot longer than this one. It's about 40 minutes that tells you how to do all of these things, and that's linked up the top right now and will also be at the end of this video. So if you want to learn a heap more, then hang around for that one as well. But for now, we're just going to tap on move, which is going to bring up our move dialog here. I can now tap on iCloud Drive and come down here to GarageBand for iOS. Now, because this is a brand new idea, I'm going to use my ideas folder and I'm going to tap copy. And this is actually going to copy it over from here. Now, I said move, but you will notice that unless you're actually moving it within the same structure, it does copy it. The reason is if something goes wrong in that process, it wants you to have a backup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to iCloud Drive, go into GarageBand for iOS, go into my ideas folder here, and then there's my new song. And what you'll notice, what I wanted to show you here is it's got a different type of cloud there because it is uploading. So this is now going to upload it to iCloud. You can see the one next to it has the download icon. That is on the iCloud Drive and not on this device. I can tap it to download it, but this new song is waiting to upload. So now that I know that it's there, and there it goes, it's starting to upload, I can come back to on my iPhone, I can come to here, and now I can use a similar method to delete, or what we can do is actually in the top right corner, we can tap the select button, and then we can select this and any other item we wanted to, and then down the bottom here, we have 4 icons. We have our share, our duplicate, our copy, and our delete. So these just replicate some of those pop-up options, but we can select multiple items. So let's hit the delete button in the bottom right, and that has now deleted from there. So that's a couple of ways that we can create a project, move it from one location to another, and then delete that. But let's jump into a whole lot more detail because you want to get your items cleaned up, and that's what I'm going to help you do right now. So the majority of my files that I need to clean up are on my iPhone and in my GarageBand folder. Now, what I'm planning to do is a lot of what I just did, which is copying over to my iCloud drive anything that I want to keep, deleting anything that I don't want, and then keeping anything on my device that needs to stay there, but organizing a little bit more. So let's show some of the techniques we can use for this. The first is that we can sort. So up the top here, it says sorted by date. If we tap on that one, we can now sort by name, by date, by size, or by tags. Now, what I like to do is actually use size here, because this will bring my biggest projects to the top. And what you can see here is that my latest version of Goats there is 1.71 gigabytes and 6 and 8 is 1.35. So I've got some big files in there that I need to actually get rid of. The other thing you'll notice here is there are some non-GarageBand band files that are in here, which are things that I've been playing around with that I need to delete as well, which we'll be doing over in the Files app shortly. But that is a good way to work out what we have here. And again, we can use those techniques we showed before to delete or to move these files over to iCloud Drive. The other thing I like to do is change my view. So in the top right here, next to sorted by size, we can tap on that and now we can go into our list view. And this just makes it a little bit easier to see more items on the screen here. So it's really a personal preference thing, whether you like the icons or you like the list view. You can swap between those two, but it's another way to get a better view of your projects here in GarageBand. Now, as you saw over on my iCloud Drive, I had a lot of folders there, which made organization a whole lot easier. So let's replicate a structure here so that we can do the same thing. What I'm going to do is hit the plus button in the top left here, which is the create folder button. And now I can create a folder. What I like to do is I name my folder starting with a number. So my number 1 folder here, I'm going to call my ideas folder. So just put 1 and then ideas and hit done. And there it is. Now, the reason it's put it down the bottom, and yes, I already had an ideas folder without a one, is that I'm still sorted by my size. So if I scroll right back to the top here, I can now tap on this and sort by the name. And now it's going to actually bring that up to the top. I've got other things which I've got spaces and dashes in front of, which are going to go in front of the ideas there, but we'll delete those out in a minute. So number 1 ideas is there. Let's create another folder. So let's go here and we'll go say number 2, and let's just call this one complete. And you can create as many folders as you want. I'm just going to create those 2 just to show you the process here. Now, what we can actually do is if we wanted to start moving some of these files, we can move them into these folders. So let's show you how to do that now. So here we have the 12 bar blues, and I happen to know this is a project I have completed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap and hold on this, and then I'm going to drag this. And if I drag it all the way up to the top here, I'm going to be able to pop it into one of these folders. So I'm just going to release it here on complete, and that's going to move it. You can see there that complete now has 1 item. And if I jump into complete, there's my 12 bar blues. I just tap up the top here, back to GarageBand, and back I go again. Now that's okay if it's just one file and if they're close by, but it can be a bit tricky. So what about all these 2DL? I happen to know that these are all completed as well, all these things from one of my other YouTube channels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on select. Now I could create a whole folder just for 2DL stuff, but I'm just going to do this for now. We're going to tap select and we're going to tap on the boxes next to all of these. Now along the bottom here, we can share these, we can duplicate, we can copy, or we can delete. I'm going to use the third one along the copy here. I'm going to tap on that, and here we go. It says you've got 5 items selected. Where do you want to copy them to? I could put them over to iCloud Drive, but for the moment, I'm just going to put them here on my iPhone in GarageBand, and then I'm going to put it right here in my complete folder. And now I'm going to tap move, and look at that. It hasn't said copy, it said move, because if you're in the same location, as opposed to what we saw earlier on, it'll actually move these files because there's no risk that they're going to be deleted. So that's a really quick way to start moving your things around. And let's grab this 5-minute beat and go, yep, this is actually an idea. So we're just going to drag that and release it there. And there you go. Now, when you're tapping and holding, don't push too hard. Your 3D touch will kick in. You just got to tap reasonably gently, hold it, and then drag it. And you can move your files around and start organizing your files. So hopefully this has given you a good overview of our on my iPhone or on my iPad or our iCloud Drive locations here and how we can use these to manage our GarageBand projects. Now, let's jump over to the Files app. So Files is just called Files on your iPad or your iPhone. If you have iOS 11 or 12 installed, it will be there. And it does very much the same sort of functions. And in fact, you can come in here and you'll see that it's very familiar. It just has a white background. But where it differs is you'll notice here that now when we look at these files here, like the hand handle with care, you can see that that's a video file and we can actually select it. It's not grayed out. The same with this zip file here that we have for this project, and I'll explain why we have a zip file here in a little while, because this is related to the tip we're going to tell you at the end around how we can share these project files with other services like Google Drive and Dropbox. But for now, we don't want this handle with care file here, so let's use the same function that we used before. We're going to tap and hold on the icon here and release. And here's all of our options across the top. Let's hit delete and get rid of that one. We don't want it in here. And you'll notice here that because we're sorted by size still, all of our largest projects and largest files are at the top, but it's giving us everything as well as our .band projects, all these other file types as well. Now, we haven't talked much about locations apart from those two that we discussed in GarageBand, but you'll see over the side here we have Expand Drive, we've got Documents, Audio Share Files, and then we've got all of our cloud storage services as well. So yes, the Files app can integrate what you're storing on your device, your Apple account's iCloud Drive, any external storage like the iExpand Drive, which I recently covered. That's a USB flash drive for iOS, which you can check the video out about up above there and in the description. Any of your applications like the very cool Documents app there by Readle, and the Audio Share app as well. So you can jump in here and you can actually access any of the files that you're storing anywhere on your iDevice, and then you can actually access your cloud storage services. So all you need to access these is to have the actual app installed on your device, and then as soon as you do, they will pop up as an option. Now, they won't pop up automatically. You need to go up to the top here and tap edit, and then here's all the locations. So you can see here, these are the locations I have. I can tap to remove some of these. So if I didn't want Documents there and I wanted to add in the SanDisk Connect app, I can do that and then hit done, and there you go. It's going to show you those. So if you want to have Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, Box, any of the other cloud storage services that are supported in iOS, just download the app, log in, and then when you come into Files, you can add that location, and it means that you have that location right here ready for you to transfer files to. So if I tap on the Google Drive icon here, and presto, here are my Google Drive folders and files. So these are all the files that I've saved over on Google Drive that I can access from my iDevice, any device that I can log into Google, my Mac, my PC, wherever. I can actually upload and download files to here, and any of these I can access from here. Now, one thing you'll notice here is that we've got zip files, we've got WAV files, we don't have .band GarageBand project files, and that is because they are not supported anywhere outside of Apple's world. So you can store those on your iCloud Drive, you can store them on my iPhone, but you cannot store them anywhere else. And that includes your Google Drive, your USB drives that you might connect here, your Dropbox, your OneDrive, everything else. But there is a workaround, and yes, it does involve zipping files, and that's what we're going to get to at the end of this video. But there is one more thing that we need to talk about before we get to that, and that is the recently deleted folder. You'll see here with the rest of our locations, this last location is recently deleted. If we tap on that, here are those song files, here are those projects, here's the things that we've recently deleted, funnily enough, because that's the name of the folder. So what we can do here is we can actually recover these. So if you've deleted something and you go, oh no, I really wanted that file, we can recover it. So let's use this handle with care as an example. If we tap and hold on this and release, we can now either delete it forever or we can recover it. So let's tap recover. It's going to pop this now back up in its original location. If we go on my iPhone, GarageBand, there it is. It's back there. We actually don't want it, so let's tap and hold it again and hit delete and send it away. Now, if we go back down here to recently deleted, there it is. It's back again. Now, what I like to do here is actually hit the select button in the top right, and when I'm comfortable that I definitely don't want any of these back again, I hit the delete all. So let's do this now. Let's be brave. Delete all. It gives us a warning that says, yes, these are gone forever. So we can't recover them once we delete these. We'll tap delete, and there you go. They're gone. Now, the reason this is important, that can't be completed. You will get that occasionally. Sometimes a file that's saved on your cloud storage or somewhere else, it'll have some sort of access issue. Don't worry, that happens reasonably frequently. It may just pop back up and you may just have to delete it again. But they are all gone from there. The reason this is important is that if you delete a lot of things from here, they're still going to be sitting here in your recently deleted items. So if you are finding that you're deleting things but you're still running out of space and still having performance issues, it may be that you're recently deleted, and here we are, there they are, are. There's a couple of those that have popped back in there that must have been on a different platform that have popped back in. But the main files, the ones that we wanted to delete from our iPhone and from iCloud Drive, have been permanently deleted now. So just like your photos, where you need to go to recently deleted and delete them there, you need to do the same with the rest of your files here in the Files app. Okay, it is bonus tip time. So if you've been with me throughout this whole process, you've been watching me jump around here and look at different storage locations, you're probably thinking, Pete, I have a big Google Drive or a big OneDrive or a big Dropbox account. Can I store my GarageBand projects there? Well, the short answer is no. The longer answer is yes, but you need to do something else to do that. You need to zip up your files. So let's show you how to do that now. So let's jump into iCloud Drive here. And what we're going to do, just so that we can use a small file, let's go back to this idea that we created, our new song here. Now, it's only 3.8 megabytes, which is ideal because it'll create a very small file and make it easy and quick to do this process. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to zip up this file. Now, the quickest and easiest and freest way is to use the Shortcuts app, which used to be called Workflow. It's now called Shortcuts. It's made by Apple, or it's owned by Apple, so it has some great features in there. So go to the App Store, search Shortcuts. There'll be a link in the description. Download that, and then you'll be able to follow along as we create some shortcuts to zip and unzip, and then we're going to zip up this .band file. All right, you've got your shortcuts, you've downloaded it, it should look like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap Create Shortcut, and the first thing we need to do is tap in the search box here, and we're going to type the word archive. So this is going to bring up Make Archive as an option. We're going to tap on that one, and there you go. It's going to say Make Archive, archive name optional, format .zip. We'll leave all that as default. We're now going to add in a quick look. So just type in the word quick and tap on quick look. This just opens up and shows you the file before you save it. And the last thing we want is to type in save and save file. So we're going to tap save file, and that's the last thing. We're going to leave it as iCloud Drive and ask where to save, because that means we can save it anywhere within our Files app. So if we scroll up here, we're making an archive, we're doing a quick look, and we're saving it. So if you need to go back and watch that again, I know I did it quickly, then you can do that. But those 3 steps are what we need to do. Now, before we actually save this shortcut, we're going to tap on these 2 buttons in the top right here, the 2 little switches, and this is our options. So we're going to name the shortcut. Let's come in here, we'll delete the untitled shortcut, and we're going to name this one Zip and hit done. And now we can select an icon. You can use any of these that you like. Let's just make it a green one there to zip it up. And then what we're going to do is scroll down here, tap Show in Share Sheet, and accepted types as anything. And this means that when we're actually sharing our documents, it's going to pop up. Now we can tap Done, and now we can tap Done. And there is our zip ready to go. Let's quickly create an unzip so that we can do the reverse here. So we'll do exactly the same again. We're going to type archive, and then not surprisingly, we're going to go extract archive. We're going to do quick again to do quick look and tap that one in there. And then we're going to do save file again. So there we go, save file. And it's got the same options there. So you can go in and find them, but if you just search them, you're going to find them easily. Let's just go to our options up in the top right here. Do the same again. Let's name it. So we have to delete, and we're going to go unzip and hit done. And our icon, yeah, we'll just make it red. And then we'll go down, show in our share sheet, and we're good to go. So let's hit done. And let's hit done. And there's our zip and our unzip shortcuts ready to go. So let's put these into action now by zipping up a GarageBand project. All right, back into our Files app here. Now let's go to iCloud Drive and GarageBand iOS. And let's go to our Ideas folder here. And here's that song that we had before, New Song. What we want to do is we want to zip this one up, and then we want to copy it over to our Google Drive or our Dropbox or wherever we want. This is what we can do now. Let's tap and hold on the icon and release. And let's tap share. Now remember when we added that option for the share sheet? That's what this is. If we scroll down, here's shortcuts in our share sheet. If we tap on shortcuts, it's going to pop up, and here we can run our zip or our unzip. Let's tap on zip. It's going to make the archive. There's our quick look that shows us the zip file. It's 9 files, 3.5 megabytes. Let's tap done, and now it's going to ask us where to save it. Now, it did say iCloud Drive, but funnily enough, the one place you can't save is back in your GarageBand iOS folder. So it's a little bit of a limitation here, but it's not too bad. It just means we need to pop it here in our GarageBand folder on our actual device here, or what you can do is you can save it directly to your Google Drive or your Dropbox. Now, I don't do that because if it's a large file, it has to upload in the background and it can cause problems and sometimes fail. So what I do is I just use my on my device, so it just saves there. Let's just pop it in the ideas folder here, tap add. And there you go, it's saved it in. If we tap on my iPhone now, we go to GarageBand, we go to Ideas, there it is, there's our zip file. Now, if we want to send this across to our Google Drive or our Dropbox, no problem. We could just use this option here, tap and hold, and then move it there. Or if we've got a bunch, we can select and then tap them all like that. And then down the bottom here, you'd press on the copy button here. So that's going to bring up the copy here. We can now go Google Drive. Let's pop in here. It'll take a moment. There we go. We'll go into GarageBand. We'll hit copy. And there you go. It's going to copy it across. If we now tap on Google Drive and go into that GarageBand folder, there we go. Then there it is. So it's uploading. It's not showing. It's grayed out at the moment because it's still uploading. And that's why I said it's a good idea to actually have it over here on your device first and then actually copy it from within files so that it will actually copy across and show up there. So there you go. That is the way that we can actually take an item that we have in here, a .bam project, and because those .bam projects are not supported outside of GarageBand or outside of the Apple world, we need to actually zip them up. So we can zip them here from our iCloud drive or on my iPhone, put them into a zip archive, and then send them over to our cloud storage platform or any other of our devices.